guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Keegan, and on the channel, as usual, the hair is fake. The reviews are not. Let's get on into it, guys. Alrighty here. So, today we're reviewing the Dart Zone Pro MK2 Vis Blaster by Dart Zone. Is a top prime spring-powered blaster that hits over 147 FPS. Is what I've gotten average with mine. So let's get into it. Starting off front, there's no strike barrel lug. Sucks. Inside, no, not really. I could care less if there's a barrel lug on this or not. It's a compact pistol. I don't know what you want for it. There is a included barrel extension to make sure people know that this is a toy. But you pull that right off, and when I've had this on, and I've tested it, I'm legitimately shaking this, and it will not come off unless you pull it off. Beneath that, you have Picatinny rail, which is what that part right here slides onto. Going back to the trigger gripping, you have a safety, and this safety is present on the right and left hand side, but here's the thing you need to know. If this is my right hand, I know it looks weird for camera, but still, this means I cannot fire. I can fire. That means you're hot. So if it's pushed into the left side, it means you are hot. So make sure you take that in consideration. I have had cases where the safety on this has jimmied itself into safe. I'm not against that. I'd rather it jimmy itself into safety than it would into fire, because that could be dangerous and a safety hazard. Going back to the prime, this is top prime spring-powered blaster. To prime, you pull back, revealing the internal magazine, which holds 6 darts, which you can just load by putting one in at a time, or you could use the speed loaders, which are freaking awesome. These look like magazines, but they operate more like a stripper clip, which this is where you just take it, put it on there, and it's stable on there, but it's not to the point where like you can't take it off like that. It's very easy to take off, and you just push in 6 darts. Totally didn't push in 7 because I didn't put one in there. Of course not. No. And then you're ready to fire. Down to the grip. The grip feels like a handgun. I'm going to keep calling this a blaster, and I know I hate when people call them or relate things to firearms, but it feels like a handgun grip, and it's very small and very not small, very comfortable to get your hand around. If you have like a Apollo or something like that, the magazine's in the grip. It's a beefier grip. Even stuff that takes like work or Talon mags, it's still a beefy grip because you have a magazine going inside this. Could you, in theory, put a magazine in there, probably modify it to do that? Yeah, I've seen people do it. I don't personally want to do that because the entire point of this for me is just to be a sidearm. I don't want to have to make it more complicated than it needs to be. Alright, so on top of that, let's talk a little bit more about what comes with this, because this is an $80 blaster. You're not just getting the blaster, you're getting multiple things. So we're going to start off with this muzzle attachment. This I like. It goes on the front and it takes up that pick rail, which I thought is ingenious because that's fairly stable on there. Like I showed you, like I cannot physically, I've been unable to like shake that off, which is impressive. And if you don't want to use it, don't use it. It's not going to hurt your performance if you use it. There's a belt clip on there, so if you want to put on your belt, you could. I don't know why, but that's just me. To speed loaders. These speed loaders are like stripper clips. I've used a stripper clip before, And basically all it does is it has tension on it, holding the rounds, holding the darts down in there. Darts are pushed down in there, putting tension on that spring, holding this down. And then when you're ready, you load 6 darts into your internal magazine. That's crazy. This is what it looks like loaded. And I have yet to have any of these break or jam or malfunction. I have yet to throw these on the ground. If you know me in real life, you know I take my magazines and I throw them on the ground hard, breaking them. But I am not comfortable throwing these on the ground because 1, they don't sell them separately that I know of, and 2, I don't want to because I don't know if I can get replacements of them. So that's my reason. Anyway, to the belt attachments, I guess, is speed welder holster. Now, in another review, I said this in my HVZ loadout because and I want to restate this, but I don't want it to come off as rude because that's not how I meant it to come off. Jangular, I watched his review. He said when you put the speed welder in, there we go. That what it does is it pushes up on the spring if you only have so many number of darts in it. So he's right about that, and I'm not gonna deny that. I'm not. Oops. So let's say I put 3 darts in my magazine, or in my speed welder. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry, whoever is watching this video. And you put it in the included holster. See how it just did that? It took this and pulled it back up. And what it does, there's a round that has decided to go out of order. Now, you can usually fix that by doing something around that, just messing with it a little bit. But I get his point. I understand that. But I don't personally understand why I wouldn't load my speed welder to fill it all the way. So that way when I'm doing HVZ, that I have it ready for it. Heck, even when I'm playing against other players. I just went to a Nerf game the other day, and I had these loaded all the way up because I don't see a need to load 3 in. Now, I understand if you're scavenging darts and you get 3 up, I get that, but at that point I just put it in my pocket because if I know it's going to do that kind of crap and I don't want to do that, I don't want to have to deal with it. It becomes more of a hassle then, and it's just, I get where he's coming from, his perspective. So that was not supposed to come off as rude. Back to review. Next thing is the holster. This is amazing. I was blown away by this. Safety. So this goes straight in like that, and it feels like a really high quality holster. My buddy runs a strong arm, and he has a fairly nice holster for that, but it's a drop leg holster. It flops around on his leg. This I've had no flop with, but depending on the belt you use, plays a big part in it. These belt loops are huge, so if you have a thicker belt, in terms of height, you're able to put it through. And even if it's a thick belt in terms of material, it's most likely going to be able to go through fine. And there are 3 points of adjustment on this holster. You have this one. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Now, you may think it's not that big of a deal, but in all reality, it actually makes a difference where you have your holster and how you have it set up on your belt. Personally, I'm in between this, and this. I'm in between all 3. I like it straight up, but when I need to bend down, I actually prefer to have it like this, because it's almost as if right here is where my side goes when I go to bend down, and it's not as uncomfortable as it would be if it was just straight up. The retention of the holster is very, very good. I mean, again, this is me doing my best. I can't but when you want to get it out, you get it out. It covers the trigger, so you are not able to fire it or hurt anybody, and it covers the barrel, so that way it does not, if the trigger wasn't covered or whatever, or you were pointing out and you accidentally fired it or whatever, it has no, I don't, you know what I'm trying to say. Overall, this was amazing. This was a fun blaster to shoot. Now, on top of that, you can shotgun this blaster. I did that on the range footage, but basically that's where you have one in the chamber and you load a dart through a barrel. I don't personally do that, but you can do it if you need to do it. So it's a very great and well-designed blaster. I do want to talk a little bit more about the grip though, because I don't want to miss anything. First off, the grip. This is metal. These are metal base plates which give it a nice little bit of weight to it, and it feels very well balanced. To a trigger. The trigger is almost skeletonized, I'm going to call it. That's why I consider it. This trigger is heavy. I've had points where it felt like I was almost breaking the blaster when pulling the trigger, and you'll probably see that in the range footage, because I'm pretty sure I caught it on camera. But it felt like when I was pulling on the trigger, I couldn't pull hard enough to fire that shot. And I don't know if it's like the first shot is a heavier trigger pull than everyone else until the bomb shot, but on either my first shot or in between, I had a bunch of shots where it felt really heavy. So let's see how on the range. Firing demo. Let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
back with a lot of disgust. If you're a stockpile nerfer, you're not using any auto blasters and just whatever. Do not like this. This is unfair. You might hurt someone. You don't know anything. And I mean, I've been shot with this before and I haven't had one of these for long, but when I was shot with it, my buddies, I got welts on my arm. It got very faint welts still around there. And it's painful. So if you do buy one, make sure you know the minimum engagement distance. If you're a modder, or you're just a HVZer, or if you're a super stock nerfer, I'd consider buying this. This is one of the compact pistols with a lot of power in it. This is like a freaking Aeon Pro scaled way down, and I'd recommend it. I don't usually run a sidearm because I've never had a sidearm worthy blaster, but this I would. I'm running this in HVZ next week, and I'm excited because I want to see how this thing does. Um, Now make sure, of course, if you do take this to a Nerf war, you check with the mods and let them know that, because this does look like a handgun. This can, if someone who has not seen this, to untrained eye, this looks like a handgun, which is partly why I think they included this to make it less like a handgun. But even then, if you're in the dark and you have this on, looks like a silhouette of a handgun, or if you have this off, it's worse. It looks like the silhouette of a handgun. So please nerf responsibly and be careful with it. I don't want anyone to get hurt. That's not what this hobby is about. We are about flinging foam and having fun. That's all there is to it. So be responsible when you go out and nerf. If you're on a private field, there's no issue using this, unless you have an FPS cap. But in public, in a park, you really need to be careful, because people will flip out. And I will tell you, the holster probably doesn't help either. This is on a belt like this. And if your shirt's covering that, someone's gonna think you have a gun. And if it's a child, we just don't want anything like that to happen. So, kind of a mixed purchase recommendation, but I hope I laid out all the information for you guys. Hope you guys have a great day. Remember, the hair might be fake, but